Holy shit, I never thought I'd be making a video like this. Pretty crazy event. And I always knew the potential of getting in a drunk driver crash was there, but I didn't really think it would happen to me. And it just goes to show you that anything can happen to you. Like I know I'm gonna die, right? Everyone's gonna die one day. But not right now. Not today. And this event kinda, you could say it didn't really teach me anything. It more so just reinforced ideas and concepts I kinda already knew. So let me just tell you exactly what happened, and you'll have pictures and stuff as I speak. So pretty much, I was coming home. I was making a right on, it was like a T road. It's like a T, there's no forward, there's just left and right. I was at the end of this road, and I was in my truck and I checked to the left to make sure I was clear, even though I was about to get the green light anyway. I checked to make sure I was clear, and so I looked and I saw a car like way down the road. So I figured, okay, I'm clear. And also, my light's about to turn green, so I'm protected. At least I thought. So I make this right, and as soon as I complete it, I see some lights in my rear view. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I look in my rear view, and there's a car right behind me. And I'm like, what the there's no way this dude can stop. He's right on me. And then I got hit. We think he was going like 70, 80 on a residential street. So I got hit from the back, but at an angle, so not quite directly in the rear. And so I got hit, and I had my hands on the steering wheel, and I tried to control it, but he hit me so fast and so hard that there was just no way I could control it. And I felt myself lifting, so I was like, okay, fuck this. There's no point in grabbing the steering wheel. I let it go. I grabbed my seatbelt because it was coming down across, and then across diagonally and then horizontally, right? I grabbed this across part and I pulled it up, because I guess this is all this martial arts training. I knew I was getting rolled, so I figured, okay, I need to pin my hips to the seat, that way I don't bounce around in here. So I grabbed it, and I pulled it up, and in wrestling, I'm assuming this comes from wrestling, because I don't know how the hell this all happened. In wrestling, you always want to keep your elbows in, tucked in, that way people don't get under your arms, and your hips low, because if not, you get thrown easily, right? So I guess just instinctually that's what I did. I pulled my seatbelt up, I tucked my elbows in, and I kept my hands close to my chest. So I was like this, and I make sure my head was right on the headrest. And then I started rolling. I rolled like 3 times. I kept my eyes open the whole time, just in case something flies through the windshield. I could maybe try to dodge it, but I wanted to make sure that I was aware of everything that was going on. So I was like this, I get rolled 1, 2, 3, and then it stops on its side, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I was just in this position for a while, because I was just like, is this really, it almost felt like I knew it was real, I knew it actually happened, but it didn't feel real. And I luckily, a lot of people stopped and helped me out. They broke open my sunroof and I climbed out through there. But really, really lucky. And the more I think about it, the more variables I know could have changed, that could have resulted in such a big difference in how this would have turned out. Really lucky, really surreal, weird experience. Everything, just everything about it was weird. When I rode, the other driver is fine, the drunk driver's fine, by the way. He just had a bunch of, he looked worse than me. He had a bunch of scratches on his hands and face. He got hit in the face. He had gashes in his legs. He was pretty much covered in blood, and I was just like, pretty much as in the form that you see before you. There's the same, this coherent and everything. All I got was some scrapes on my knee from friction where it was rolling, because you know when you're sitting, your knee can easily touch the top or the, you know what I mean, right next to the steering wheel. So my knee just scraped around as I was rolling. And that's all I really got that I knew of at the moment. So then I went to the hospital. I rode in the ambulance just to be safe and clear, and everyone was like, just like, what? How are you fine with a rollover? Rollovers are really dangerous. I'll talk more about that in a little. But I got to the hospital and I was sitting there waiting for, this happened around midnight. I was sitting there waiting for the attending ER doctor. And the ER doctor comes up and he was just like, hey. And I'm just like, what? I see this guy and I know him. I thought I knew him. Like, I'm pretty sure I know him. But I'm like, is this real? So he sees me and I see him, and then we greet each other, and I have to look at his name tag first. I look at his name tag to make sure that was him, and it was him. It was a friend of mine. And the last I knew, he was working in the medical district in Houston. This happened in like Northwest Houston. And I'm just like, what kind of coincidence is this? I don't have too many doctor friends, and the one of the few that I do have is my attending ER doctor. So we talk, and it's just like, so we talk, and he's just astounded how good I look, and then I get released and I go home that night. It was pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And of course, the other driver, straight after the hospital, he went to jail because he was driving drunk. So yeah, I also think that I've seen rollover accidents on the internet before in the past, and I've always thought about what I would do if I ever got into an accident, how I would react for certain scenarios. I never thought about what I'd do for a rollover, especially being in a truck. Trucks don't usually roll over unless it's a really bad accident. But I remember seeing these videos where as the car is rolling, if your hands are like out, and as it's rolling, you know, the glass breaks, and if your hand comes out of the window as it's rolling, you could lose your arm. Or worse still, if you're not wearing your seatbelt and you're rolling, the same concept can apply to your leg or your head or even your torso. Some people get chopped in half in rollover accidents. It's really crazy. Or you get slingshotted out of the car and then maybe like 10-12 feet in the air, and then you land on the concrete. Either way, all of those things are not good. So I'm really lucky that none of that happened to me, and I have my seatbelt on. I would say that the seatbelt definitely saved my life, but the way the fates are, I guess you could say, I have a friend from sword school who's been in 2 major accidents, and he said his first one was a rollover. He rolled 6 times. He wasn't wearing his seatbelt, so he got ejected out as it was rolling. Luckily, he landed on grass and not concrete. But when he regained consciousness and he saw his truck, he saw that it smashed into a guardrail and the driver's side was just totally crushed in. So if he was wearing his seatbelt, it would have killed him. In contrast, me wearing mine saved me. So I guess that's just the cruel game the fates like to play with us mortal beings, and we just have to accept it. But yeah, it was one hell of an event. And the weird thing about it is when that adrenaline kicks in, everything goes by really fast, but also really slow. It's a weird thing. And because when I think about how the hell did I pull all that off in the very limited amount of time that I had, because it happened almost. I'd say the whole event took about 2 seconds, because he was going that fast when he hit me and I roll. I'd say from the point of him hitting me to me rolling, it was like 2 seconds. But it was a really long 2 seconds. And somehow I had the clarity to, okay, this is happening, gotta react to this, gotta make sure my elbow's in, gotta make sure I don't have any limbs out that might get caught outside of a window, gotta make sure my hips are seated, gotta make sure my head is stable on the headrest so it doesn't bounce around. I don't know how I did it, but that's what happened. Pretty crazy. I should open like a car crash martial arts school or something now, because I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Now, if you've never been to a car crash, there's a whole legal bullshit you have to go through. So I'm still, of course, resolving it, and it takes a while. I'm going to physical therapy. By the way, I got x-rays on my neck and hips and lower back and my right knee that got banged up, and everything's fine, no fractures. But the whole legal thing, it's completely new to me. I've never been in a car wreck before, and I've never had to get a lawyer for anything before. So I have a private or a personal injury lawyer. The way it works is they work on a contingency plan, you could say. They work for free, because they get a certain percentage of your settlement, so you don't have to pay for anything if any lawyer tries to make you pay for anything up front. Specifically for personal injury, they're not good. They're probably scamming you. So pretty much he handles everything for me. The way like therapy works, he fronts that for me too. So I'm not paying for any physical therapy right now. He just cuts it out when you get the settlement. But the problem now is looking like, of course this is still in limbo, so I can't say for certain. I will keep all of this updated, but it seems like he did not have insurance, because he hit me. I only have liability insurance, not full coverage, because full coverage covers anything. Liability only covers you hitting someone, and then they have a claim on your insurance. So because he didn't have insurance, this complicates things. Well, we're assuming he didn't have insurance. It's still up in the air, but I've already accepted the fact that he probably didn't have insurance. So because there's no claim to file, I'm pretty much fucked. And I only have liability, and under liability coverage you do have options of personal injury protection or uninsured or underinsured protection, which I have neither of those. Well, they're all pretty much the same thing, but I have neither of those on my insurance. So worst case scenario is, and he was, the guy that hit me was 21, so he has more than likely no assets to his name. So worst case scenario is, I just have to pay for all of my medical and the new car that I need to get. I just pretty much left with the tab with no help at all. Which pretty much is pretty shitty, because I was finally getting out of some of the debt that I had from living on my own, and now right back into it. We could sue the driver, but more than likely he doesn't have assets. So even if we sue him and win, I'm not gonna get anything out of it. My car is totaled, and right now it's in a storage lot. And when there's no insurance involved, that means I'm gonna have to pay for the storage fees for that lot. Alternatively, because it's totaled, I could just give the title to my car, and then they sell it to cover the storage fees. This is all a bunch of shit that's still ongoing. But that's the worst case scenario, which I hope doesn't happen, because the ambulance and ER and all the physical therapy and the storage fees, and well, I mean, thankfully there's no serious injuries, and then getting a new car is just gonna suck financially. But a weird thing is, I'm not mad at all. I'm not angry. And as I was rolling, there was no fear of death. Being a certain level of enlightenment, you kind of accept everything as it happens. It's easy for me to hate the guy. He was walking around too. He got out of his car and he was walking around, and we were talking a little. I could have punched him. No one would have stopped me. Everyone would have been in agreement with me. I could have hit him. I could have hurt him. I could have been angry at him. I could have done a lot of things different, and I could have felt differently. I could have been very afraid to die. I'm at this space where whatever happens, I accept it, good and bad. It's a much better way to live, because it's a lot easier to be full of hate and anger. That's easy. All those things are easy. It's much harder to just be nice all the time. And that's what I always try to do. I always try to be nice. And so far, I mean, so good. This just kind of was almost like a stress test for me. I had every right in the world to be angry, but I wasn't, because I've been angry in the past, and it's no bueno. But yeah, I'm just really lucky. I'm really grateful. Really crazy. And in a weird, strange way, it was kind of exhilarating and exciting being that close to death. Being that close, be like, oh shit, there's an excitement there. I wouldn't want to do it again, but that just speaks to the insanity that I know is in me, that shit was kind of exciting, even though it was really, really scary. Also, if you don't have underinsured, uninsured protection in your insurance, get it. Trust me, it can happen to anyone. And wear your seatbelt, or maybe not. I don't know. Just wear your seatbelt, and if you feel like you shouldn't, take it off mid-crash. I don't know, whatever the fates want with you. An idea that's been reinforced is just how, and also I've gotten a lot of support and messages from everyone on social media, and really grateful for that it really does help. In the past I've been like, man, this shit don't help, leave me alone. But it does help. It lets you realize that people actually do care about you. I've gotten a lot of messages of people saying that if I need anything, any help, that they're willing to give it, and it just feels good to know that you're not alone in this period of crisis, you could say. Handling it really well. So I got hit Sunday. I tried to train Tuesday, and I got really lightheaded, really loopy, just really exhausted and weak. It turns out I had a concussion. I just didn't. I might have hit my head as I was rolling, or probably just the sheer force or acceleration of me rolling that fast probably just rattled my head. But I haven't gotten an MRI, but it's pretty much, this was last week, so this week it's pretty much gone now. I've started training Monday. Yesterday and today's Tuesday, and as long as I take it light, I feel fine. And like I said, I'm not angry at the guy at all. In a way, I'm kind of, you could say, glad he hit me, because him going at that speed, like, I could handle it, you could say, because I know if he hit someone, say he hit a family of 4 with kids, or he hit a grandma or something, this would be a very different outcome for him and those parties involved. I got lucky that I just got a slight concussion and some scrapes, and I know it could have been not only way worse for me, but way worse for everyone else around me. So yeah, I think I've said everything that I wanted to say about this. All 10, 12 of you who actually watch this, you almost lost your star, but the fates said no, and so I'm still here. And just very grateful that I have everything working and moving, and there's no permanent damage, and I could continue following that psychotic dream that I have, because it's all really, that dream is really tethered on me being in this form still. So yeah, here's my social media and stuff. Hopefully I don't have to do any more videos like this, and hopefully you learn something from my experience. That way, if you ever get hit, hopefully not, you kind of know all the steps to take. If you get hit, you should definitely get a personal injury lawyer. Insurance always tries to screw you. That's just the nature of the game. So yeah, I'll see you sometime soon. I will keep everyone updated about how this legal shit goes. And hopefully we get back to all the nutrition and training and all the stuff that you probably want to see here. But yeah, I'll see you later.